All right, so once you have the value planes on your face, you should have it on your whole face, but I just haven't finished doing mine yet, but I'm just showing you this demo. You're going to turn it over and you are going to take your pencil and you are going to press really hard and you are going to scribble, and anywhere where your face is, you're going to make a nice heavy shape you do to make carbon paper. Now, the reason carbon paper works is you're essentially putting a layer of pencil over here so that when you go to trace, that layer of pencil is transferring your lines. You do not want carbon paper that looks like this. If your carbon paper is this light, your lines are not going to transfer. Now, the shape that I'm going to do, and the reason I just shaded that little spot, is that I'm just going to shade. I am going to do this eye right here so that you can see. So I have my 1, my 4, and my 5. So I am going back to my collage practice, and I figured out that I liked this is my 1, this is my 2, this is my 3, this is my 4, and this is my 5. So that is my value scale. So before you start cutting, you got to figure out if you have 7 here or you have 10 here, you got to figure out where are the 5 or 6 or 7 or however many layers you had that you need to do. Then what you're going to do, and because I have put this nice dark heavy, and I should probably do it again because I used it already. I put this nice dark heavy layer of carbon paper on. I'm going to put my piece over here on the pink. Now, the way I could trace this is I could trace this little triangle and I could trace this little triangle. But the problem with that is if this 4 piece is not perfectly cut and perfectly shaped, there's going to be little gaps between this, and we don't want that. So for this assignment, you have plenty of construction paper. I would say keep your shapes nice and big. If you can figure out a way to make this all one big shape, you can do that. Or you could even just cut like this big triangle, but make it so that it goes into this shape a little bit, and this big triangle so it goes into this shape a little bit, so that any of your under layers get kind of overlapped by the things that are going on top. So I traced my eye and I ended up with my eye shape here. And then I'm going to turn my blue over. No, yeah, blue is my 4. So I'm going to turn my blue over. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to trace that whole 4. Pressing down nice and heavy and dark. And when I press down nice and heavy and dark, it shows up nice and dark on my paper. The other nice thing about it is that it's kind of giving you a history of where you've traced. So you can tell that I have traced these ones because they're nice and heavy and dark, and you can tell that I haven't traced these ones because they're not nice and heavy and dark. So then I've got my iris. So then I'm going to recommend you take these and immediately cut them out, set them together, put them right on top of each other, and set them on another piece of paper sitting next to where you're working. So that 1, you don't lose them. 2, you know which pieces go together, so which pieces are which shape. So I would recommend like cutting, like for example, if I'm cutting this, I would cut this piece, and then 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 I would set all 4 of those pieces together so that I have them for next time or for when we go to glue. So you want to slowly work your way around, work in sections, work from top shape to bottom shape. Or bottom shape to top shape. So for example, like for this big, I could take this whole big face and make it a level 4 because most of it is a level 4. So I could take that whole big shape and instead of doing this little level 4, I could do like a whole head 4. Or I could even do like half a head 4. Like if I know that like a good chunk of my darks are on this side of my face, I could take a line and trace all of this as to one level 4. And then I do the level 3 that goes on top of it. And then I do the level 2 that goes on top of it. So you need to kind of brainstorm, plan, problem solve your way to tracing and cutting all of your shapes.